Well over a year. I've not streamed with you since I joined, and that's been over a year now. I know, it's been a while. Mind your language. Get you on in the first 2 minutes. Sorry, a bit late. We are doing a very special stream today. We're going to set some stuff up. It's all going to be through Unity, which I've not done before in streams, so back. Oh, is it too loud? Seeing as, right, let's try all that again. Guys, we've got Django with me. Django, what do you do? What is your purpose?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I think usually I write stuff and then things happen in the game. So I'm one of the programmers. Been here for far too long, and that's why I haven't been on the stream for a while. But we've been working on some fun stuff that we wanted to show. So Matt asked us to come and demo it.
Because you guys relentlessly asking about what all the cool stuff we're working on, what's Django been up to, is he alive, what's his haircut looking like, and obviously, we know.
It's a bit short, yeah.
It's alright.
See, I like this.
Do you want it?
Oh, it's good.
So yeah, we are going to showcase like a show and tell of sorts, the stuff that Django's working on. Sam's also just off to stage right. Pop your head in there, Sam.
Hi.
There he is. Oh god, this is so exciting. So there's 2 things we're going to show off. One is the increased field of view that Django's been working on. And also that's going to encompass world bending slightly as well, but we'll come on to that because that's an interesting point to talk about. And then Sam's going to show off some flying AI that we've been working on. Now, I'm going to get this out of the way right off the bat. This is very much prototype work. Huh?
Correcting my name. Props.
Django. Yeah, there's a D.
There is a D.
This is very much work in progress. There's no guarantee that any of this will get added to the game in any form whatsoever. Just gonna really lay that out from the start. It's prototype stuff that we've sort of been working on in the background. I think you guys even did the field of view stuff in a lunch break, didn't you? Or
yeah, we sort of. It's something that's been on our minds for quite a while, and we thought maybe we can put a couple of hours in, because it's one of those things that you really want to, but you're not sure if it's going to be possible, if it's going to be as cool as you think it is, and you're gonna have to figure that out by trying it out. So Sam and myself spent a little bit of time just throwing something really simple together, and then after that proved to be kind of nice, we decided to spend a bit more time to make it a little bit better, to sort of have a decent starting point, but obviously it's still nowhere near to be ready to add to the game. There are still small issues, compatibility with interaction in the world, and making sure that it runs at a decent frame rate for everyone. All these little things that, as you look at it, it looks amazing, but there are all these side things that we need to take care of for all the various players. And when you think about also on the console, it needs to work on everything. So we need to be very cautious about these sort of broad sweeping changes, but at the same time we're very excited about it. Can't wait to show you guys.
We will. Let's just get into it, shall we?
Yeah.
Shall we?
Do it.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to be an absolute backseat driver on this. I'm just going to let Django and Sam do their thing because this is way. I mean, I'm almost out of my depth in regular TerraTech, so let alone like prototype work in progress stuff. So we're going to switch to Unity again, which we've done before. It may crash. It hopefully won't, but this is the nature of the beast. So if it does, bear with us. Should we do it? It worked. Phew. Right. Should we swap?
Yeah, we can swap. I can just about reach that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sam, do you want to squeeze in a bit?
I can see if I can. You can squeeze in.
You can squeeze.
Can we squeeze? I'm as over as I can.
So we'll just start off by sort of flying around. So you might actually see the world kind of looks the same.
So this is regular TerraTech.
Right? Smart Matt.
Yeah.
He's caught on to us. All right. So Matt's figured it out.
I was playing
we haven't actually done anything. We're just telling you that it's further.
That's basically what Apple do. We're basically Apple of
So this is kind of what TerraTech normally looks like, and it looks, you know, it looks cool down here. But when you start looking at this upper bit, yeah, that white border isn't ideal now, is it? So we did some changes. First off, we can. Oh, this is the nature of the beast. You know, TerraTech being in development mode in the editor. So we can make the view distance for the camera a bit further, which looks cool, definitely. But we get these borders, and
because they are unloaded tiles.
Hey,
guys,
sick!
I've
Look
got
at
it.
Matt, he's on a roll.
Unloaded.
So, because we have an infinite procedural world, we kind of have to only load a small section of it, and the size of that section is kind of dictated by how much performance we have available on the PC. So it's kind of, you know, it's not that far when you think about it. When you're on the ground, it looks pretty far, but when you start flying up, it actually becomes a problem really quickly. So we had to do a lot of profiling on what exactly is the costly bit, where, you know, where do our slowdowns come from having terrain so far in the distance. And luckily we can actually do terrain quite far in the distance as long as we don't simulate things on it. They're not too expensive. They're mostly expensive for the GPU, so actually it might start stressing the GPU a bit more.
Oh my god, that might be the bottleneck now. We'll get full mode and
we might get there one day.
GPU
that's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
GPU throttle.
Yeah.
So I think I've, you know, held you guys in suspense long enough. So I'm just gonna hit the button and make it go even further.
Do it!
So
Whoa!
Hold that thought.
That still looks amazing, even though it's not quite what we wanted.
The trick is, if you make the view distance really large and just put a ton of fog on, then it just sky's the
There you
limit.
go.
Yeah.
So what happened just now was the fog was a little bit extreme,
Beautiful.
and we didn't quite get the effect we wanted to go for. But this way, we've got a lot more distance, and actually what we can do is we can make that go further if we want to. So I'm just tweaking some numbers here as we're playing. So now you can barely see the edge. You get fogging obviously, and as you can tell, like there are
That's just the
swiveling a bit. These tiles, they have the lighting that's kind of incorrect. So these are all the things that we still need to figure out how to make it properly.
work in progress, guys. Remember
Definitely. But I'm just trying to find some nice terrain because these dunes, they look so washed out. It actually looks really amazing in the dusk when you get mountains in the distance. It looks so cool. But in the daytime,
around a bit if you want to find something.
I think we need to wait for the daytime to kind of. No, we're kind of halfway daytime, I think. So if we maybe speed up the time a little bit. These are all the sneaky debug things that we have at our disposal as developers.
I know. Yeah, quick caveat to all this as well. We're doing this for Unity, so we literally have the editor in one window, you're in the other. So if you see us changing things really quickly, it's not that. I mean, we are obviously very good. I say we. I'm including myself in this. Django and Sam are obviously incredibly talented programmers, but we're not able to just write code that quickly. We're editing stuff, and
You'll probably notice the sound dropping out when we click on the editor window or something as well.
It might be, yeah. So I'm kind of changing the time at which the day progresses at the moment to make it go a little bit faster towards night, because that looks really cool. So I'm getting close. Where did the... Whew. We've landed.
that was smooth, unintentional.
Hold that
So
thought.
is someone asking if it's just longer view distance or also performance improvement?
I mean, some things are optimized to make the impact of loading tiles a little bit quicker, so less costly, essentially. Okay, look, there we go. We're nearing dusk. So obviously we need to make small changes to improve how we deal with that. but over the whole, like, we're still doing the same amount of work. So you're not going to see a whole lot of difference there. But this is kind of the effect that we're wanting to go for. You know, in the daytime you get that white washout, which isn't great. But when you get to sort of this time where you get a nice dusk on the horizon, it does look pretty, doesn't it?
Oh, that's another part of it being a prototype, right? Because the light scattering is all set up for our current view distance and things like that. So
absolutely. So that's where, you know, it becomes really painful to watch how some things are set up, because they're just not set up to deal with this.
Just quickly. Sorry, chat. So I'm just going to let Django show off and talk about this, because that's literally what it is. And then once we've sort of got to the end of what Django's talking about, then we'll get some questions in chat. So if you think like we're ignoring chat right now, we're not. We're just letting Django kind of go through what we're going through, and then we'll go.
Yeah. So on the subject of chat, there's some valid comments. I also love the Luxite crystals, especially in dark at nighttime. They just pop out into view. That's so cool. Making the chunks smoothly become visible, that is something that we'd love to do, but it's actually quite a big task, because it means changing the way the terrain shader works, and it's quite a complex shader. And not just that, but also all the elements that are visible on top of a tile. So that's not likely. What we're more hoping to do is have the tiles go into the distance, and then have them obscured by, you know, the atmospheric scattering, as you saw at the beginning. So the fogging, but just less intense and in a bit more of a elegant way, shall we say. So that's something that we'd like to do. The other way that we're also hiding the horizon, and this is, you know, mind-bending sci-fi stuff.
Whoa, the world is round, guys. No flat Earth. No flat Earthers around here.
Flat Earth has been disproven.
Yeah, well. So this is what I was sort of talking about earlier about the curved world and all that stuff. Is this something that you originally worked on? But now we've definitely had to not include this. If this was to ever be included, this increased field of view, curved world just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you're going to now explain why.
Yeah. So what you see here is actually just some clever shader hacking to make everything appear at a different position than what it is. So that sounds great from a gameplay perspective. However, it means that visually things...
that looks so good.
That's cool, right?
Sorry, go on. I'm going to do a lot of interrupting.
From a visual perspective, everything now looks round and offset. But actually from a gameplay, sort of the logic still works on a flat plane. So everything is slightly in a different position. And it means it kind of breaks fundamental assumptions. So when you raycast at something, you're just going to miss the object because you're pointing at the visual position, but the logical position in the world, you can see the clipping, I know. So the offset is kind of problematic for the gameplay, and there's not much you can do about it. So if we would ever be able to include this, it would have to be at a very subtle level. But it still does a little bit, so I'll show you the difference. So this is flat TerraTech, the way it currently is, with the long view distance, and you can see the Luxite crystals popping into the distance. So that's kind of the range of where the tiles are a bit more complex, and then after that they're all very simple tiles. But then when we go to the rounded world, it's kind of like this, and it's not loads. I'd actually like to see if anyone noticed originally. Shout out in the chat if you did.
Yes, shout out in chat.
But it's quite subtle, but the lack of it, you kind of appreciate it without realizing it. Why are the chunks flickering? Well, that's the nature of the beast. So that's actually that's the reflection probes. So they have a sort of cached lighting solution, and currently, because this is all very sort of quick work and prototype, that's just not fixed up. It would take some time to fix that up. It's not impossible, but obviously it would need some attention, and that wasn't our main priority. So the idea behind doing this is figuring out, is it feasible and how much work would it be to sort of get this to a working state, so that, you know, we do a little bit of work to get an idea of what the actual problems are in practice, and then we can see if it's something we can do or not. So we're kind of halfway in that process, and it's something that we now can start considering, is that a realistic possibility within TerraTech? And I think that's kind of what I had to say. So do we have any questions? Let's see. Okay, yeah, you just want more view. You'll take the bugs. Fair enough. That's unfortunately not what we can do. I know how you feel. But yeah, we can't ship it at the current quality level. It would need more work. But appreciate that you're digging it. So Thunderflame says, with the round mode, you get things out of render mode that are normally out of view. You get them in view. That's absolutely right. That's the other thing. If you make the roundness amount too high, you kind of end up pulling things into view that would normally not be in view, and they've already been culled by the camera. So this is one of those things where Unity kind of prevents you from changing things. Unity says these are the objects that are in view, and that's why I'm going to render them. And you can't tell them, oh, but actually these other ones should also be in view. So if you then offset their position at render time, things that were in view are now out of view, and things that weren't in view suddenly come onto your camera, but you can't see them because they're not included in the render pass. So it's all quite complicated. I'm seeing Matt kind of spaced out. He's lost the thread quite a while ago. But I think it comes down to, we really want to do this, but we just kind of need to figure out if it's something that we can fully support. I have no doubt that we'll get something to improve, you know, if we go back to the original. I'm just going to cheat a little bit. Oh, no. Hey! So I've just gone back to the original, the current setting. I'm sure there's something we can do to at least push this back, even just a little bit. If we're going to get to all the way over here, I've messed up the camera again. There we go. We don't know. We'll have to see. That's kind of my bit, I think. Thanks, Matt.
Are you going to stick around, or are you going to head back upstairs?
I'll sit around for a little bit.
Okay. Any questions for Django? Get them in the chat. This is Django show and tell. So he's shown you and he's told you about it, and now he's going to answer some questions.
Totally landed that gracefully. So let's see. Questions for me, guys.
I'll answer that one on the console. In the console version, is there a reason for the multiplayer on there have blocks you can't pick up or get in campaign? Yes, so that's not just local to console version. There are some blocks, so crafting blocks, for example, cannot be accessed in co-op modes because it would require a lot of work to add those into any sort of game mode, co-op game mode, not even on console. So we've sort of had to put them on the back burner for now. But yeah.
Yeah,
cool. Any others?
That's right. Will we ever have new trees and vegetation? It's not really my department. I think we will. Don't know when.
No, we'll make it.
I wouldn't mind some.
No, that's one for us.
No, I think, you know, we're always looking to make the game more interesting. It's very possible that new trees and vegetation are part of that.
Would it be
if they have?
Would it be a new biome, or would we just
possibly? Yeah, I mean, it would need to be a meaningful contribution to the game.
Sure.
You know, just adding a new tree model is fun, but does it add something?
Because it needs to have new resources.
If you look at these, you know, there are definitely different tree models, but can you really tell?
Yeah.
You know, if we add one extra one, does it make a big difference? So it would probably need to have a function, or maybe, you know, give some kind of new resource,
which would be more crafting.
Exactly. So we're kind of it's definitely something that we'd like to do, but we need to see what the purpose of it is.
There's also potential with the new missions as well, with their custom terrain. They could have custom trees and models for that mission as well.
Lord, that guy. Will screw propulsion be possible? This is something I've seen suggested a little bit, and I love the idea. I absolutely love the idea of screw.
Yeah.
That would be space junker.
That would be absolutely space junkers all over. I can't see why not in theory. Again, it's one of those things, it kind of comes back to like leg walkers and those sort of features. If it's done, it's got to be done properly, and it's got to be done with a purpose. Kind of like Django was saying, like we're not just going to throw it in, like we're not going to throw in like a screw propulsion tank track and it functions as a tank track, but really it's just got the skin of a propeller. That's we'd like it to do something, but then it could move you forward, but also harvest and resource. It could act as a drill as well, something like that.
Provide a genuinely new way to move around.
Sure. Yeah.
New mobility.
So in theory, it could be added. I love the idea, and I think something like that would be perfect for, like, say, space junkers.
Yeah.
Who knows? What else have we been asked?
Let's see.
Speaking of rendering, is there such a thing as the equivalent of Minecraft farlands?
That's one for Django.
Would the world generation go haywire past a certain point?
Yes, it would actually, but that point is quite far.
Could you assume? I mean, again, I know exactly what you're talking about because I'm really clever. But assume I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
What does that question mean?
So, do you know what the Minecraft farlands are?
Yeah, I do, but just assume that I didn't.
Okay, so Minecraft farlands, if I remember correctly, they're essentially, if you go far enough in the Minecraft world, at a certain point, the generation algorithm doesn't have enough precision in the decimal digits to accurately simulate the normal structure of the biomes. So you get sort of the data starts being a little bit offset, and you get misses on, you know, when you calculate the coordinates for the blocks where they all go, they end up being the wrong ones and collating in one single coordinate, for instance, and you get big gaps and various
things start wiggling around as well.
Oh, they even have that now.
And that's known as the farlands.
Yeah, so
that wasn't a question. That's known as the farlands, guys.
So long-time players of TerraTech might actually know this. So it used to be the case that if you went about as far as we are right now, so you actually can't see the radar, but if you go over about 10,000 units, you would get the shadows would start flickering, and if you kept going beyond that, you would actually get to the point where the physics would start spacing out. So, like this. So if you look, you can't see well. So if you see the shadow here on these trees, they're kind of jumping around. So that's definitely something that we used to have, and the reason is the same. It's
too far away from the origin.
We're too far away from the origin, and at some point the precision isn't enough to, in the case of the shadows, for the camera to do its calculations correctly. So we had to fix that by moving the whole world kind of back around the Unity origin repeatedly to keep it always close by. So that pushes the problem away in terms of the rendering, but at a certain point, are we going to hit a problem with the world generation? Absolutely. There's no way around it. Luckily for us, that distance is very, very far away. I think it might be close to the in-max value. I'm not sure if there are floating numbers in there, but you'd have to go quite far. I'd be very curious to see if someone manages to go that far and gets any funny results in the world generation. I've not seen or heard of it, So
I've not seen that.
Nope.
nope. So it doesn't exist. No Farlands. Completely fixed.
Please don't say that.
I would suggest not wasting your time trying to find
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
because it could take years.
There was a question about modding, official mod support in TerraTech. It's something we've proposed with sort of James Flan of Flan's Mod fame. Has put a proposal together for the higher ups to have a look at, and hopefully, if we like what we see and there's enough sort of interest in official mod support, it'll be a thing. So yeah, watch this space. Hopefully, we can get something in place for official mod support. Zenon, we missed your question. Sorry, bud. Do you want to repost it so we can get to it again?
Yeah. That's it.
What's your favourite wheel type? Good. This is the question
Oh,
that I stream for. What is your favourite wheel type, Django?
That's a very easy answer.
We've broken it. The game's broken it. It's fine.
So my favourite one is the original Springer wheel, definitely.
Why?
Because it's fast, it's got good suspension, it's just all use very good wheel.
So you missed a great opportunity to say ground there. I'm disappointed.
Gosh.
Nice, nice. The other Springer wheels are pretty solid too. I don't have my snapshots here, but I built most of my snapshots with some variety of those wheels because they were the original OP bestest wheel in the game.
Okay, Zenon's reposted their question. Can you remove the SCU and instead make it so that every completely disconnected block teleports to the inventory after 5 seconds of being disconnected? Yeah, can we do that? Or why haven't we done that? Or is that something we would want to do?
So
It's a design thing, right?
Yeah.
That would definitely be a design decision. I mean, we could do it in code. It just depends if we would want to do it from like a design.
Imagine you were a designer. Would you want to have that kind of feature? We kind of already have it in co-op with the collide to scabbing.
I mean, there's certainly
so if I understand correctly, it's saying that any loose blocks essentially just go.
Just gets like it's like an automatic SCU.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certainly been discussions about whether the co-op version is better, whether you throw the blocks, and I think it's just an ongoing thing that we're not sure which is actually better.
Yeah, I personally like the SCU. I think it adds a slight. I know it's not huge, but a bit of challenge to sort of in campaign to be able to pick up all your blocks. You couldn't usually. You want to add a level of realism. I realise the SCU stands for, what does it stand for? Singularity Containment Unit.
Yeah.
I realise that isn't an actual thing, but like, if sure, yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. So that's sort of my theory. Tweakopedia. I did see your suggestion earlier. Consider it noted up in the old brain box. Awesome. I think we're going to have to leave it there on your stuff there, Jan.
Yeah, definitely.
We
tag out to
swap
Sam.
Yeah, let's swap over and get Sam.
Roll and
Sam
fade into the background. Thanks for having us. Or me, at least.
No, thanks for coming down. Are you sticking around?
Timer. I might actually do a little bit of coding.
Alright, Django's going to go code.
Yeah.
Everyone say thanks to Django. Round of applause.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Django.
Thanks so much, buddy. See you later.
See ya.
God, you're handsome. Stop it.
Okay. We've got something special now. Have you told them what this is?
Yeah. So for those that don't know, Sam has been working on flying AI, which actually works really handily with the new with the stuff that Django's been working on. They kind of go hand in hand. So it's been a nice little double whammy.
Just to make it clear again, this is not flying AI that you're going to see in game next week, next month. This is purely a really hacked together prototype.
We can't stress that enough, guys. I know these clips probably get clipped. This video will get clipped up and spread and shared because people want to see it. That's awesome, but we can't stress this heavily enough. This is very much work in progress. This is prototype in every aspect of the word. This is a prototype, and will not be added to the game. It may not even be added at all, but it won't be added in the current form that it's in. So if you get too excited, that's good, but rein it a little bit.
So this may go horrifically wrong because we're not in created mode technically, so I can't make my plane invincible. So when I start spawning enemy planes, I may just get blown up. So we'll see.
Yay! They're up there. I know they're up there.
It's actually
Whoa!
just spawned a squad of planes to start with, and they've immediately crashed into the ground. That happens sometimes. That's
They're
we'll ignore them.
They're
They're not there. They're not there.
Get rid of that sound.
Yeah,
Don't need it. We're pros.
we don't need tips. What I can do is just sneakily spawn another one. So at the moment, just randomly spawn some planes around you every now and then. Sometimes they spawn as a single plane, sometimes they spawn as a few planes in kind of like a formation. I think it looks kind of cool.
Who's this guy? What's this guy doing? Oh, he's
I don't
gone.
know, I'm having issues catching up with him because his planes are rather slow. But this is an AI plane.
I will not have a bad word said against Liftoff. Liftoff is my guy.
I don't know.
I want to adopt him.
Oh, he's having issues at the moment. There's another one.
There we go.
Here's a big one.
So, Sam, talk about what work you've been doing on AI, on this particular bit, and kind of what the implications of that are.
They appear to be falling out of the sky, which is unusual. But, oh god, I'm being shot. So this is, I was tasked with making a prototype for flying AI, just to see like what it would be like if there was stuff in the skies in TerraTech. Just see if it's possible. Like we don't have anything that flies at the moment. I'm gonna rebuild my plane because I got shot a bit. Yeah, we don't really have anything in game that flies, so we don't know if it's fun. We don't know how much it adds to the game. We don't know if it's possible. This was kind of a task to see how possible it is.
It's like a proof of concept type thing.
So at the moment, I've only got, I've got some designs for planes I made. They kind of try their best to fly around, follow the player. Some of them fly in formation.
Can we not load this into creative? Would that not be easier?
I can try to. I would have to close the game and reload
That's
in
fine.
creative.
If you switch to close up.
So if we just swap back here a second.
I'm going to look pretty, or as
We'll,
pretty as I can. How's the head looking in
Switch into
chat?
creative so I don't die
Are we
repeatedly.
good? Let's get that up there. That's what everyone tunes in to see, is Matt doing his hair in the camera. Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, if we swap into creative, I'll make myself
Nice.
invincible and then we'll see what plane spawn.
Big news as well. This actually is an exclusive, and it's sort of you've probably seen it on screen a little bit, but we've not really sort of mentioned it. Sam got new glasses.
Oh damn.
Guys, Sam
I was
got new
hoping no one would
glasses.
notice.
How can you not notice? They're round.
No one noticed in the office for
I
like
did.
2
I said
days.
I noticed.
You were the
I
only
said
one.
anything.
You were the only one that
Didn't bring
noticed.
attention to it. Wasn't there a dev code for invincibility?
There is a dev code for invincibility, but I don't remember
I
it.
don't remember. We needed Django for that.
because-
Django did that.
Yeah.
And he's gone. Man's on fleek. Thanks, Shido. Do AI use control layouts, or have they got their own?
Okay, so this is this might get a bit technical here.
Do it! The more
So
technical,
the
the
planes
better.
do actually fly as players would in this prototype. They do actually press like pitch up and down, like throttle forwards and backwards. So they're not cheating. A lot of games will just like cheat the planes, just have them in the air and move forwards, like take gravity off. They wouldn't actually be flying properly. If I swap back to the
Desktop.
desktop.
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of games will just cheat the planes. These are actually flying properly, so if you build a snapshot, stick it into the system, which is a kind of dev debug thing at the moment, they will kind of spawn, and I've put a few designs in. I tried to get some weird and wacky designs. I got James to build me a plane with a big bertha in it, see what that would happen there. This, I believe, is one of ZeroG's techs. Little tiny.
Oh, look at
tiny
him go!
plane. But you can see all sorts of different designs try and fly quite well. They kind of learn how to fly themselves, so it's like, it's not exactly machine learning, but it follows the same sort of lines. It uses something called a PID controller, which is used a lot in real planes for autopilot and things, where you'll notice when it's trying to fly straight. Okay, there goes the wing. You'll notice when it's trying to fly straight, it will, oh yeah, invincibility. It will kind of alternate up and down a bit, so it will like bob up and down until it finds a good way to fly. But the advantage of this is because it's learning how to fly on the fly, excuse the pun, you can do things like this, where I've knocked a part of a wing off this tech, and it's kind of adapted and learned to roughly stay in like a straight line.
So if you were to change their control scheme in a snapshot, for example, then load it in,
I don't know what happens with the control schemes. All I know is if it flies with an aeroplane control scheme in a snapshot, if you can load the snapshot and fly it with the default aeroplane control scheme, it should be able to fly it.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know, but Sam's like really good at being a programmer. So I'm reading chat like, this is amazing. I'm like, what do you expect?
I think it's more that I worked on a flight sim previously, so I know a lot.
Get rid of that.
Of this stuff. Yeah, why does that keep popping up?
But yeah, so that's important to know as well. Sam, your experiences in Flight Simulator?
Mostly.
Did you do train sim as well?
I did some train sim, but
so trains in TerraTech. You heard it here second. Trains in TerraTech are next. They're not. Please don't quote me on that.
Here we go.
Here we go. Flying ducks.
I did that in for fun. They don't really fly that well in squadrons.
They're just going to crash, aren't they?
Yeah, sometimes they fall out the sky.
That's amazing.
Haven't figured that out. That's why we're not shipping it.
You know when you make paper planes at school for the first time, and you just throw it and they go whoop?
Yes.
That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah, sometimes they get a bit confused. But I mean, you can see some of these have been flying around for quite a while now. They're still in the sky.
They hug the ground together.
I did see the little one was still flying around somewhere.
That guy's doing alright. I think he flew away. I think he was too big for it.
Oh, there he is. There's one. There are some weirder planes in here somewhere, but they don't seem to be spawning.
Cool.
There's the little one.
What else have you got to say about this, Sam? I feel like we've only scratched the surface. Have you already covered it all?
No, I mean, I can talk more about how the PID controller works, so that it uses, that's a Hawkeye name.
PIG?
PID. PID. I don't know if it's PID or PID, but essentially it's a way for real world, like autopilot and stuff, to figure out what it's doing and like what the feedback is. So it's used a lot in robotics because you don't necessarily know every kind of factor affecting what's happening in the real world. So say there's wind or something, you don't want to program in autopilot and then have the wind blow and then your plane falls out the sky. So what it does in this context is your plane will be flying along, you give it a target pitch and a target roll, and it will kind of move up and down.
Wait, I knew chat. I knew there was a reason we had you.
There is someone being smart.
Proportional integral derivative controller.
It is in fact exactly that.
There you go.
Essentially means it kind of keeps track of what it's doing over time and if it works. So if it presses pitch up, and the plane goes up and gets closer to its target pitch, and it's like, cool, I'll do that again. If it goes too far, it goes, okay, maybe I'll try down for a bit, and then it kind of goes up and down for a bit, and then
okay, yeah, so I remember this now. So through your,
so you see them being a bit wobbly, that one's being a bit wobbly there.
So you say, what determines what that differential is saying?
So there's a bunch of debug values I've got here at the moment. It's just hard coded right now.
Right.
I mean, probably what we would end up doing is if we added something like this to the game fully, we would have these values would be saved along with the AI plane designs.
Yeah.
So each plane would have a different set of values. Just some planes work better with different values. But I found kind of a general value that keeps most of the planes in the air most of the time. I'm trying to find some of the more interesting ones. My favourite is the one that looks like it's basically a big Bertha with wings. I tasked James with making me that snapshot, and it seems to fly. Russ gave me a couple of weird ones as well, which also fly, but they're not spawning. I don't know why.
So this is very much AI, right? Like it's.
I mean, this is AI. These planes are not they're not hard coded anywhere. They're learning to fly themselves, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to fly towards the player at the moment. So if I go on the ground, they try and maintain a height a little bit above me. There's a couple that have bombs on them, the EXP bombs. So they try and maintain a height above the players, strafe over them, drop their bombs, and then fly around to meet the player.
So how would something like dogfighting work? Would you be able to program the AI to target you and sort of fight you in midair?
Yeah, so they
just
kind
be
of
doing
do
what
that at
they're
the
doing?
moment. They do try and follow you, and if I was shooting if these had weapons, they would be shooting me if I wasn't invulnerable. What I wanted to do, but didn't quite have enough time, or haven't got around to yet, is getting them to try and follow behind you. So in an actual dogfight, you want to try and be behind the other plane. If you're talking like old school dogfights, because all the weapons are on the front. So this AI would absolutely be able to follow behind the player. It will do anything you want as long as you can figure out a way to. Oh, is this the? Oh no, that's a different plane.
They're flying in
Got
formation.
some weapons.
Are they going to crash?
So these ones.
Come on, I believe in you. Yeah, you did it.
Oh, I've collided with one, but yeah, I mean we can program them to fly in formation. So these are actually trying to follow the leader at the moment. The leader is crashed into the ground, so they're crashing into the ground. But yeah, I mean I've programmed a few to. Yeah, we're getting a bit laggy now because there's so many texts. So I'm just going to fly away a little bit.
Just a quick question, Shido. Will we ever be able to edit the enemy spawn pool? I think it would be really cool and make campaign more exciting if you could fight against your own designs. Honestly, no. At the minute, the enemy spawn pool or enemy pool is managed by design, which is Chris and Greg. From time to time, we'll ask for new enemy texts. I think we're probably due for some soon. And when we do, we'll reach out to you guys and ask you to submit text, things like that, and we'll just add them in.
It would break quite a lot of assumptions the game makes as well. Like campaign would just be, you could just have like Fatouis everywhere in campaign. You could just make it really easy, too difficult, and I don't think it's the player experience that we want right now.
Yeah.
See, this one's keeping up with me a little bit. I'm sad ZeroG's not in the chat because I actually stole a bunch of his Steam Workshop planes for this. I think that's one of his.
We can catch up on YouTube.
Yeah, I think an approach like this makes the AI a lot smarter than what we've got currently because they will adapt to situations. They will adapt to being flown into. They'll adapt to having wings shot off, things like that. Which our current AI, honestly, they don't.
Let me reiterate this. This is still a work in progress. This is a prototype, guys. So people are asking if when it gets added, will it do this or can it do that? We don't know. Is the honest answer. In theory, yes, but we're not. This is the point of this exercise, isn't to achieve that. Really, it's just to prove that flying AI is possible and that we can sort of make planes that can kind of think for themselves, which I think Sam has adequately proven that it is possible.
Think of this along the lines of kind of like an internal mod. It's more like a mod than a feature. Like you don't expect a mod to be finished, to be added to the game. It's just something that you look at and you're like, okay, this is kind of fun, and like, oh yeah, this feature would work. Sometimes we look at mods and go, okay, that's actually really fun.
Yeah.
We'll do it our way. The same sort of thing would happen with this. So these prototypes get fed back into our design system, and then we decide if we want to do anything with them, how we want to go about it, how long we want to dedicate to it, what we want to do with it. The same as we design a normal feature, this is kind of like the first step, which is like, is this feature possible and is it fun? There's a Hawkeye plane, that's kind of great.
Exxon did ask a good question. To satisfy Shido's demand, can we ask which class manages the population? This is then essentially mod it in.
Yeah,
you can ask. I'm sure Sam won't know exactly what that class is off the top of his head.
I do in fact know
that
there is a class called Man Pop. There you go.
Man Pop!
Man Pop.
I wondered what that was.
Which stands for Population Manager.
Man.
Which happens to be the prefab that I have open here, where I'm debugging stuff to spawn planes and things, which is the only reason I know.
There you go, excellent Man Pop, so you can now play around with enemy populations yourselves.
Don't ask me how. These don't even use the population system. I'm just spawning
James is
random
in chat.
tracks.
James will know. I think we'll someone will be able to. Oh no, Dave's coming.
Oh, we've got a Dave.
Oh no, he looks mad. Hey Dave.
You might not be online anymore.
Might we not?
We're not upstairs.
Apparently we've lost internet upstairs, but we're still getting Twitch chat, so I think we're good.
We've got the green light.
Okay.
Chat, are we still there? Can you still hear us?
I think we've stolen your internet, Dave.
No, that's cool, as long as you've stolen it and nobody else.
Yeah, I think it's us.
Yeah, we're fine.
We've stolen your internet.
So if you've not got internet, come join in on the...
Well, I couldn't watch it upstairs, so
Get in here.
second screen.
It's
So
official. TerraTech is now a stream-only company.
Nice.
We only do streams now. Stolen all the internet. Do you want to have a fly around, Dave?
I
See
do.
some flying AI?
I do.
I mean, you could put some
I could
weapons
do.
on the plane.
You could.
Guys, we've got Dave now. So Dave is a producer.
So we've got to watch what we're saying here. Scary producer.
Oh,
Oh, you found the
They're trying to
bombing
bomb
planes. Yeah, they do that.
you've made them evil.
I think it shows that there are a lot of like fun situations. It's incredibly fun if you just sat minding your own business on the ground and you see like a huge V shape full of bomber planes fly over the top and explode you. I say it's fun. It's probably not so fun if you're in the middle of a campaign and you've suddenly got no tech.
No.
That's part of why we make these prototypes, is so that we realise the issues. We may not have enough anti-air guns at the moment because we've got like one or two, but we don't have anything to shoot with them,
Yep.
so I have no idea if they're actually any good at shooting planes. I've not tried to blow planes out the sky except with planes.
When will the bomb get a corporation? Do you mean the bomb in R&D?
I assume they mean the EXP bomb that
Not the
they're
bomb crop.
dropping at us. All the bombs
bomb.
they're dropping are the EXP. Is it big bomb or big something bomb?
Bombay. It's just Bombay bomb.
Maybe.
Bomb Corp. Yeah, should get his own corp.
Bomb corp.
Trying to make everybody sick now.
I think I've been doing that for the last 20 minutes or so. It's fine.
You're making people sick with your sick programming skills.
Well, I was trying to keep like planes in view, which means a lot of camera around. If it gets too laggy, just kind of fly in one direction until you're out of the way of most of the planes. What have you done there? Oh, you've locked
Trying to
on.
lock on, and then you can keep the enemies in.
Minerva says, "Oh, hey Dave, I would
Hey.
also like to be a producer at some point in the future when I'm done with school."
Oh,
You're an inspiration.
That's a good one actually. We don't
Yeah.
usually see a lot of people wanting to be producers in the games industry.
no.
People want to be designers, sometimes they want to be coders. I don't think they know what coding is or if they want to be a coder. Most people want to be designers, right?
I'm not convinced that lots of people know what producers do, and I'm setting myself up there for a question, but
I mean, I would guess that. I didn't know what a producer did until I joined a games company and had a producer telling me what to do.
A lot of the time, producers, in smaller teams, a producer isn't necessary because the team essentially runs itself. But when you get to the point we're at, where you've got multiple, that's fine. We've got. Let's just show them what's going on down here. Dave is currently using my lap.
we run out of tiny desks, so we have to use Matt's extraordinarily long legs.
When the team gets to a particular size, and it requires people to manage essentially project manage what's going on. So
Yeah.
Dave and Dave's been absolutely killing it.
And that's what I'm trained in. So
How tall is Matt? Matt is 6'6", 2
not
meters.
really. He lies. He's taller than that.
Yeah,
He's
no
way
one
taller.
really knows.
That's about 6 inches too tall
Yeah.
to be a functioning human
Yeah.
being, for the record.
I am too tall. I'd show you in here with here, but
What you don't notice is when Matt leaves the stream, he has to duck to get out of his room.
He does. And then he gets into a very, very small car and drives away.
Tweakipedia, I love Tweak. I think producers yell at people in groups and condescendingly whisper advice to individuals, but it's just a feeling.
Hey. Always shout at
I
people
mean-
one-on-one.
In private.
I mean, bad producers might do that. A good producer is going to be doing all the stuff that the coders and designers don't want to be doing, usually.
Yeah. I built shelves today.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably not the normal job of a producer.
No.
Building shelves is not part of the job description.
Putting lights together, that doesn't count either.
I think that just comes with part of the package of being called Dave, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah. Dave will do
Yeah.
it. Dave will fix that. Dave will do that thing.
Also, you're an incredibly manly man as well.
Thanks, man.
Not a compliment.
Is it not?
No. Oh, those shoulders!
I'm not
guys.
so manly that it's toxic manly, am I? I thought I was a nice person.
The best goddamn person I know.
Oh, Sam's here too.
I'm sad now.
Oh,
I put all this
Sam.
work in for flying planes. Dave puts up a few shelves
And crash into the ground a lot.
Sam, did you just I feel like you completely devalued Dave's achievements.
we've got a squadron there.
What's going on?
It's directly
We've
above
gone
you.
well off
you
topic. Dave, with everyone, what are we talking about?
I'm trying to find this. Ah, there they are. And they're flying. They're flying, Sam. They really do flock.
Look at them go. They
crashed. Yeah,
There's
they-
something
they
about
crashed.
that specific plane that seems to like the ground. I'm guessing the values aren't set up properly for that one. Especially when it's a squadron, they tend to just flock towards the ground.
Yeah.
But we'll ignore those.
Shido says, "I love this stream. It's great seeing the devs like this, and I would love to. I love if you guys did this more often." Yeah. So, if this goes well, and also bearing in mind these are just two things that are on our sort of thing like list of things that would be cool, our prototype list and things that we kind of work on in the background. There's a whole load of other stuff. Probably not enough to do one every week, but we could definitely look at doing one at least once a month. So if this goes well and if people want to see more of this, let us know. Hit that like button. Does Twitch have a like button?
Follow.
Follow us.
Follow.
Subscribe to us. We need that Twitch Prime money.
All
We
of
could
those
really
dollars.
go for that Twitch Prime dollar. We're a bit I could. If you want to just subscribe to me. Don't please do
Dave
that.
flying upside down did remind me of a cool anecdote. When I was developing this, there was a certain snapshot someone gave me to test out, and part of the problem with the planes being kind of so smart is they can kind of be too smart, and one of them decided that the best way to fly a certain snapshot was upside down.
Nice.
So there's a certain snapshot, if it spawns, it will just fly around upside down. The whole time it will just be upside down, it will turn upside down, it will shoot you upside down.
And rightly so. And I hope it has a bomb bay, so it bombs itself.
I mean, yeah, it just decided, you know what, it's easier to fly upside down, so I'm just going to fly upside down.
That was pesky flying AI.
But obviously we don't want that in the actual game, another reason why
No.
this sort of stuff's not shipped.
Question: will the Learn to Fly plane get a gyro? Is this the learn? Is Liftoff the Learn to Fly plane? Is the one you get in your
I think
venture?
so.
Like,
Yes.
We
So-
use it everywhere.
Yeah.
This, I don't think needs a gyro. Controversial opinion. I don't think the Liftoff. It's that
I
small
mean,
and nimble.
It could do with being a little bit less
Lifty.
unstable.
So one thing I did
So
find
actually you think it's
is
relevant.
it was a lot easier to both fly the plane yourself and for the AI to fly the plane if you stuck a passive gyro on it.
Yeah.
It just makes things like how it pitches up when you fly straight, it makes that a lot less impactful and gives you a lot slower turning speed. So, I mean, we could add a passive gyro on it and see what it's like, but I doubt we'd change what's already there in game. It seems to work. If anyone wants to try it, stick a passive gyro on.
Is there any suspected time that Better Future will come to console? I know on Twitter it was supposed to come out this October. Could that get pushed back again? Absolutely not. Doge 21600. So what's happened with console? I'll give you guys a quick console update because I know this. Well, Dave will probably know more about it, or we may know about the thing. We have submitted it to Xbox for certification. So that means that we've done all the work that we can do on it. We've developed it, we've ported it, we've QA'd it, we've translated it, we've done all the stuff that we can physically do as a developer, and now we've given it to Xbox for them to certify it. And it's essentially down to them when it kind of comes out of certification. What could happen potentially is that it gets denied, and we have to go back to drawing board. We have to fix the things that they want us to fix, and then eventually, that could happen a few times. Hopefully, it doesn't. Hopefully, we've QA'd it enough that it doesn't need to do that, and that we can just then launch it. So then, essentially, once it's been approved, then essentially we've got the green light. We can hit that go button, and the console update will be, or the Xbox One and PS4 update will be available, and you guys will get Better Future. You'll get co-op creative. You'll get custom skins and control schemes. All this cool stuff all will come to console or PS4 and Xbox One.
Personally, with my completely unbiased view, custom skins is the best part of that update.
Why would that be?
I thought
Nothing to do with the fact that I did a lot of the work on the custom.
I thought you did a load on anti-grav as well.
That's true. Anti-grav's very good. That's part of Better Future.
Sam gets some new glasses and he just
Putting a skin on an anti-grav, now that is the top.
So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, co-op the console update, including Better Future, it's a matter of days, if not, it could be hours. Honestly, it could be.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I would bet it's not going to release tonight. Let's put it
I
that
think it's not
way.
going to release. It's all going to release tonight.
So yeah, once it's gone through some machine testing and we get it back, we can then push it and people can then play it. The PlayStation will go a little bit after that. So yeah.
Unless it comes back and has failed certification, then it's all in the hands of producers like Dave. So
Yeah.
blame Dave.
Xbox will be squarely on Jamie, but not avoiding that one already.
No.
But yeah.
Okay, in that case, blame Jamie.
Blame Jamie. Blame him hard.
Or blame
Well,
Microsoft.
don't blame
if they say
anybody.
it's not
It
good
will be
enough.
fine.
Guys, let's PMA. Come on, it's awesome.
I mean, we've done a lot of like internal testing on it. We're happy with where it's at.
Yeah.
That's why we've put it in certification. So
We're
hoping nothing goes wrong.
getting tired now.
I know you're doing really well. We've sort of talked a little bit about stuff. Any other questions for Sam or Dave or me? You know, you can ask me some stuff. I'd appreciate that. Well, we're here because we're going to start closing off in a minute. Is there anything else you wanted to show off, or is that it?
I think that's it.
I love that hashtag. When in doubt, blame it on Chris.
Oh, we're there. Whoa. Cool. I've been out of touch with TerraTech. Our Legion and the Walker limbs still in dev. They've never been in dev.
Walker limbs?
Yeah, we definitely have not
No.
written
Or
a single
when you
line
say
of code
all
for
over
Walker
that.
Limbs.
They're in the pipeline. Like they are.
I'll try and make things walk that aren't Walker limbs.
Yeah. Dave's been killing it recently. Matt, how was your day? Shido. See, this is why we should get Shido on everything. I was having a great day, thanks. I had porridge for breakfast, or oatmeal for those colonials out there.
Is that what
coffee.
oatmeal is? Is it just porridge?
It's porridge.
I've learned something new today.
Then what did I do after my porridge? And I've sort of checked up on forums and Discord. This is really what people tune in for, right, guys?
I had
Yeah,
some
I've had a great
toast. I brushed my hair.
Yeah. Have you considered adding anti-grav AI?
I mean, you said if it flies.
If it flies
And it
with
has a
the
control scheme.
aeroplane control scheme, it should work with this prototype.
So in theory, you could just chuck an anti-grav.
I haven't
What?
tried it, and I would be rather scared to try it. 'Cause
Do
it will probably
it-
just
do
float
it.
off into the sky, but
Could we do it now? Is it possible to do it now or not?
no.
Okay, never mind.
No.
We'll save that
It
for
would
next
take
time.
too long.
Dave, what is the timeline on the next corporation coming to Unstable? Whoa.
Yes.
Yes. What is the timeline?
That is a question.
That
you're right.
is a
That
question.
is. I checked it. It had a question mark there.
Are the Hawkeye
Well
new
done.
blocks going to be moved to Legion eventually? Do you mean they're no? No, they are definitely Hawkeye.
Hawkeye blocks are Hawkeye.
I can understand why people might think that they might be Legion because they definitely look like they would do very well in the Legion Corp if/when that ever happens. But no, they're Hawkeye. It's to do with the new missions that are getting added in the stable, which is, again, that's coming out very soon. That's something I'm going to hype up. Get your hype hats on, guys. Once the console update's out of the way, hopefully that comes first. The next stable will be ready to go, and that's going to have the 2 new missions and then new blocks that are going to be rewards for those missions. It's so cool. The new missions are killing it. We're really happy, and you guys are going to love it. What else? We need confirmation for Legion. Don't know. Honestly, we don't know. It's in the pipeline. The next 3 corporations are Rescue Research, Legion, and Space Junkers.
Cool. We ignored the question apparently.
Oh god.
Can we get the ability to change controls per block? Controls per tech is pushing it.
Yeah, control schemes are complicated. They're probably one of the most complicated things we've got in game right now, both to use and in code. Putting that per block would be
How would
crazy.
that work?
I mean, I feel as though you're just asking for something that explodes in lots of different directions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's too far. I think that would be crazy complicated to implement, crazy complicated to actually use, and I think probably only about 10 of our players would actually ever ever use that.
Mr. Crafters. So maybe. I mean,
That's a
we'll never,
definite possible maybe.
we'll never say never.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a designer. If a designer comes to me and says, implement this, I've got to do it.
Make
So-
all the blocks controllable on every key of the keyboard.
Cool. Right. I think we're going to wrap it up now. I feel like that's been an hour, just about. Yeah, a nice somber note to leave it on.
It's October.
It is.
It's fitting.
Thanks to everyone for stopping by. Thanks to Django for showing off his thing. Thanks to Sam for being awesome. And thanks to Dave for having a goatee. Isn't it brilliant? And thanks to me. I'm going to thank me. Pat myself on the back. Because I'm awesome.
There's something wrong with that.
Guys.
Thanks to Matt for putting up with me and Django setting this all up like 5 minutes before he was due to actually. Sorry, 5 minutes after he was.
Yeah,
due to
I'd
start
hit live.
streaming.
You guys don't know this. I'd hit live, go live on OBS, and UDC wasn't even open, so we have to do all that in the background. It's almost like when the curtains, when you're at the theatre and the curtain's down and they're still building the prop, we're still bringing the set behind the curtain, getting everything ready, or people are getting changed. That's
So no
basically
one's
what
ever
happens.
actually seen the set together or rehearsed the
Yeah.
play beforehand.
Yeah.
But, like, we could probably do with a tree here. Let's hope there's a scene with a tree in there.
We'll improv it. We'll improv it, guys. Come on, we'll improv it. Just
Fine.
say yes. Just say yes.
Be the tree.
Be the tree. You are the tree. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks so much for stopping by. Make sure you smash that like button. I always wanted to say that.
What about
I
the
say it a lot.
notification bell?
Yeah.
And
Well, because when this goes on YouTube, that
that'll
will be
work.
applicable.
Yeah.
So
But where is it? Quick, where is it? Point to where it would be on screen. Is it?
it's
is
under
it
Sam.
there?
It's under Sam. Under
This
Sam. Under Sam.
direction. It's
All of them.
This
It's down. No, it's down here. It's by Switch.
Nice.
Yeah. It's under me. All right, guys.
Cool.
I've stretched it out long enough. I'm just gonna go.
Bye.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Fist bump.
Just bump.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you didn't stretch.
Everyone get in. Everyone
You
just.
Oh,
Yeah. Woo. Cheers, guys. See you next week. Bye. Bye. I love doing that. Bye.